The Kobali would soon learn why you never anger the humans. A lesson Nesso would regret as a human hostage turned the tables and brought the ruthless aliens' plans crashing down around him. Alarms jolted ex-Marine Raymond Ross out of cryo-sleep. He snapped awake, instantly alert. Red lights flashed. Sirens blared. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Ross grabbed his rifle and rushed out of the cryo chamber, sprinting down metal corridors towards his security post in the mining colony. This remote human outpost, a valuable source of rare minerals, floated alone on a barren asteroid. And now, it was under attack. Reptilian raiders swarmed the facility. The Kobali, a cruel spacefaring race hell-bent on galactic domination and plundering resources. Screams echoed through the halls as the invaders slaughtered the civilian miners. Ross skidded around a corner and came face to face with a group of raiders. He opened fire, cutting them down in a hail of bullets. The Kobali returned fire with their strange plasma rifles. Molten bolts melted through metal walls. Ross ducked and dodged, blasting away. Kobali bodies hit the floor. Blood splattered the corridors. He fought his way to the control center where the other security personnel were desperately holding off the assault. Leading the invaders was Nesso, a vicious Kobali warlord. His warriors outnumbered the human defenders 5-1. But Ross and his security team fought like men possessed. In brutal close-quarters combat, they pushed the Kobali back, meter by bloody meter. The miners evacuated to a secure bunker while the guards bought them time with their lives. Ross sent a desperate distress call to Earth before the Kobali destroyed the comms. Wave after wave of raiders crashed against Ross's dwindling defenders. One by one, his men fell until only Ross was left standing. Nesso himself finally subdued the ex-Marine as a hostage. The arrogant Kobali leader gloated that this was just the beginning. The reptilians had already destroyed many human outposts, seeing mankind as weak and ripe for conquering. Nesso's victory speech was interrupted by a human warship dropping out of warp, guns blazing. The Earth vessel annihilated the Kobali raiders with a devastating barrage. Nesso dragged Ross to an airlock as a meat shield, while Marines deployed from the warship in boarding pods. In the chaos, Nesso narrowly escaped to his own ship with the human hostage, fleeing the carnage as the Earth ship was too damaged to follow. But as they raced away, Ross overheard chilling comms chatter. This was just a prelude. The Kobali had amassed a colossal invasion fleet poised to strike Earth itself and seize control of humanity's wealth and resources. The Kobali thought mankind was defenseless prey. Ross knew better. The reptilians had foolishly angered the human race. Now he had to escape and warn Earth of the imminent invasion. The Kobali were about to learn the hard way why you should never, ever anger the humans, and Nesso would soon regret the day he took one of them hostage. Nesso's clawed fist slammed into Ray's face again and again, the Kobali's yellow eyes burning with rage. Blood ran down Ray's chin from his split lip. The interrogation room stank of the coppery tang. "Give me the codes," Nesso snarled, his forked tongue flicking out. "The access codes to your planet's defense grid. Tell me." Ray spat a glob of blood on the floor. "Go to hell!" He had been trained to withstand torture, to resist until his dying breath before betraying Earth. No matter what they did to him, he'd never break. He'd die first. Nesso's reptilian nostrils flared. He grabbed Ray by the throat, sharp talons digging into the human's neck. "You fool," he hissed. "You only delay the inevitable. Even now, our unstoppable armada races towards your wretched Earth. We will burn your cities, slaughter your people. Your kind is weak, ripe for conquest. You will all be our slaves." Ray headbutted the arrogant alien, smashing his forehead into Nesso's snout. The Kobali recoiled with a pained screech, green blood spraying from his nostrils. "When we're done with you," Ray growled through gritted teeth, "the only thing your shitty species will be is extinct." Nesso delivered a final rage-fueled punch that knocked Ray unconscious. The ex-Marine woke sometime later, alone in a small cell. Every inch of him hurt. His head pounded and his body ached where they had beaten him, but he pushed the pain aside. His personal suffering didn't matter. All that mattered was escaping this ship and warning Earth. He examined every centimeter of his prison, drawing on a career's worth of Black Ops experience. There had to be a way out. There was always a way out. As the ship juddered, entering FTL, the lights flickered. Ray seized his chance. Ripping wiring from the cell's light panel, he frantically spliced and crossed wires until sparks showered. With a final twist, the force field on his cell door shorted out. Ray slipped into the shadows of the vessel's corridors, every sense on high alert, ducking Kobali patrols. He made his way to a computer terminal in a deserted section and ripped off the access panel, rewiring it to tap into the ship's systems. With a few deft keystrokes, he hacked the communications, and a flood of intercepted Kobali transmissions scrolled across the screen. Coordinates jumped out at him. A hidden location where Nesso's ship was to regroup with the main Kobali war fleet to refuel before the final strike on Earth. Ray hissed out a breath. Bastards. But he had them now. He knew where those reptilian fuckers were staging from. He downloaded the information into a portable drive. Earth had to know, had to hit them there before it was too late. Break them at their assembly point while he still could. As silently as a ghost, Ray crept towards the nearest escape pod. Freedom was meters away. He was almost there, just a little further. An angry roar. Ray spun. Neso charged around the corner, a plasma rifle in his claws. Ray dove for the pod's hatch. Neso fired. A bolt of green plasma hissed past Ray's head. Ray rolled into the pod and slammed the emergency launch button. Neso howled in fury and flung himself at the pod. Ray kicked him in the face as Neso tried to rip his way inside. The alien tumbled back. Ray grabbed for Nesso's gun. They struggled over it, smashing against the pod's inner hull. Ray head-butted Neso again, stabbed a finger into his eye. Neso screeched and Ray ripped the rifle free. Neso lunged, jaws wide. Ray shoved the gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. The back of Neso's skull exploded. Ray hit the launch control again, and the pod blasted free of the ship. As he careened into the void, Nesso's ship erupted into a plume of smoke and flame behind him. Reactor ruptured from the pod's explosive disengagement. The escape pod shuddered and spun as it hurtled through space. Ray slumped in the pilot's chair, panting. Kobali blood splattered across his face. He tried hailing Earth ships, but received only silence. Maybe the pod's comms were damaged. Maybe there was no one there to hear it. He prayed that wasn't the case. It felt like an eternity, drifting in the black. But finally, a human patrol ship picked up his distress beacon. They brought his pod into their hangar bay. Armed Marines pried the hatch open. Ray stumbled out and collapsed into their arms, shoving the data drive with the Kobali intel at them. Earth! Ray croaked out through cracked lips. They're going to hit Earth. I know where the fuckers are, where they're gathering. You have to stop them. Ray passed out as the ship's medics rushed to tend to him. When he woke in the medbay, the patrol ship's captain was standing over his bed, hat in hand, a grim set to his mouth. Son, we got your information to command, but it's bad, real bad. Kobali ships are pouring into our space like locusts, hitting our border colonies and outposts, torching them, killing everyone. Earth's defenses are stretched thin, just trying to hold the line. Sir. Ray struggled to sit up, ignoring the doctor's protests. I know where those bastards are staging from. Gave you their location. They're marshaling for an attack. We have to hit them first. Smash them before they can hurt Earth. The captain rubbed his stubbled jaw. Our whole damn fleet probably couldn't stop them, Marine. You've seen what they can do. He sighed. But maybe a small force, something they don't see coming. A precision strike right in their tender bits might be our only shot. He looked Ray dead in the eye. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a long shot. Chances of coming back are slim to none, but you know the target. Led us this far. I need a man like you to guide our counterattack. Ray set his jaw and gave a single sharp nod. He'd do it. Take the fight to those Kobali bastards, even if it killed him. Earth needed him. The human race needed him. One desperate, balls to the wall, all or nothing attack. Humanity's last stand. Ray stood before Admiral Hawkins in the dimly lit war room, the holographic display of Earth's battered defenses casting an eerie glow on their faces. "It's a long shot, but it's our only chance," Ray said, pointing to the refueling station coordinates. "We hit them here, we might just cripple their invasion force." Hawkins nodded grimly. "Assemble your team. I'll give you whatever we can spare." Within hours, Ray found himself on the bridge of the outdated frigate Defiant, surrounded by a ragtag group of survivors. Sarge, a grizzled veteran with more scars than skin, manned the weapons console. Ace, a cocky sharpshooter with a permanent smirk, lounged in the co-pilot's chair. At communications sat Sparks, a tech whiz who could make a supercomputer out of scrap metal. "All right, ladies," Ray barked. "We've got one shot at this. Sparks, keep us off their scanners. Ace, plot us a course through their patrols. Sarge, just try not to blow us up before we get there." The Defiant crept through Kobali space, every creak of the hull setting nerves on edge. Twice, enemy patrols passed within kilometers, but Sparks' sensor scrambling kept them hidden. Finally, they reached the refueling station, but as they approached, something was wrong. "What the hell?" Ace muttered, peering at the scopes. "Those ain't Kobali ships." Ray's blood ran cold as he saw the scene before them. The station was swarming with grotesque feral creatures, the Jara. These monstrous mercenaries had torn through the Kobali defenses without effort. "Sir," Sparks called out, "I'm picking up chatter. They're rigging the place to blow when the Kobali fleet arrives." Ray's mind raced. This changed everything, but it might work to their advantage. New plan. We take the station, use their own trap against them. They managed to capture a Jara scout, extracting the mercenaries' plans under Sarge's forceful interrogation. With the intel in hand, Ray led the assault. The Defiant's airlock blew, and Ray's team poured into the station. The corridors erupted in chaos as they clashed with the Jara in brutal close-quarters combat. Sparks broke off, sprinting for the control room. "Cover me!" he shouted as he dove into a maintenance shaft. Ray and his Marines formed a protective ring, unleashing a hail of gunfire at the charging Jara, the air filled with the aliens' feral screams and the stench of their acidic blood. Ace's cocky grin vanished as a Jara claw ripped through his chest. "Shit. Sorry, boss," he gasped before collapsing. Ray roared in fury, emptying his clip into the creature that killed Ace. All around him, his team was taking hits, but they held the line. Suddenly, Sparks' voice crackled over the comms. "I'm in! Systems are ours!" A massive Kobali destroyer dropped out of warp, looming over the station. Without hesitation, Sparks activated the Jara's explosives. The fuel reserves ignited, engulfing the Kobali ship in a massive fireball. The shockwave rocked the station, tearing holes in its superstructure. Alarms blared as atmosphere vented into space. "Fall back," Ray ordered, dragging wounded Marines to the few intact sections. As the dust settled, Ray took stock of their Pyrrhic victory. Half his team was dead or dying. The station was a wreck, and worst of all, the comms were fried. "Sparks, tell me you can get a signal out," Ray pleaded. The tech shook his head. "No chance, sir. We're cut off." Just then, the sensors lit up. Kobali ships, dozens of them emerging from warp. Ray looked at his battered team, drive etched on his face. "All right, people. Looks like this is where we make our stand. Let's show these bastards what happens when you piss off humanity." They took up defensive positions as the first Kobali boarding pod slammed into the station's hull. Ray checked his ammo and steeled himself for what was likely to be his final battle. Ray's fist slammed into the metal bulkhead, the impact reverberating through the command deck. Blood smeared the wall where his knuckles split open. He barely felt the pain. "Fuck," he roared, chest heaving. "We were so close." Admiral Rivera's weathered face remained impassive as he surveyed the haggard remnants of Ray's strike team. His voice was gravel and steel. "At ease, Marine. We're not done yet." Ray whirled on his former CO, eyes blazing. "Not done? We're stranded in the ass end of nowhere while those Kobali bastards are burning Earth to the ground. How the hell are we supposed to..." I said at ease, soldier! Rivera barked. The bridge fell silent. Sparks hunched over his console, fingers flying across the keys. Trying to boost our signal, sir, he muttered. Maybe if we can? A thunderous boom shook the ship. Klaxons wailed as emergency lights bathed the bridge in crimson. Report, Rivera shouted. Hull breach on deck 3, a crewman yelled. Slipstream drives completely fried. Ray steadied himself against a nearby terminal. He locked eyes with Rivera. So that's it then. We're fucked. Rivera's lips tightened into a thin line. Not yet. We're not. He strode to the main view screen, hands clasped behind his back. This system's uncharted. Might be resources we can use. Raw materials to patch the Razor's edge. Maybe even survivors from other battles. Ray shook his head. And what good will that do? By the time we limp back to Earth, there won't be anything left to save. Then we make damn sure we take as many of those lizard-faced sons of bitches with us as we can, Rivera growled. He turned to address the bridge crew. I want every functional sensor scanning this system. If there's anything out there we can use, I want to know about it 5 minutes ago. As the crew scrambled to comply, Ray felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to see Sparks, the tech's face etched with exhaustion and stubborn persistence. We'll find a way, sir, Sparks said quietly. We always do. Ray nodded, his eyes hardened tight. He stared out at the alien stars beyond the view screen, picturing the Kobali armada descending on Earth. His home, everything he'd fought to protect. They want a war? He muttered. We'll give them a goddamn war they'll never forget. The Razor's edge drifted silently through the void, battered but unbroken, and deep in its hull the last defenders of humanity prepared for one final desperate stand. Ray stared at the flickering warp window, his face hardened. The Razor's edge shuddered, its damaged systems struggling to maintain the fragile gateway. It's now or never, Sparks muttered, his fingers dancing across the control panel. We've got maybe 2 minutes before this thing collapses. Rivera nodded grimly. Take us in. It's our only shot at... Contact! A sensor operator shouted. Unknown vessel dropping out of light speed. Ray's hand flew to his sidearm. Kobali! Negative, the operator replied, confusion evident in his voice. I've never seen anything like it. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a patchwork ship that looked cobbled together from a dozen different alien vessels. Its hull was scarred and battered, evidence of countless battles. Weapons hot, Rivera barked. Prepare to... The comm system crackled, a burst of static, then words, broken, halting English. Human ship. No fight. We... friends. Ray and Rivera exchanged shocked glances. Open a channel, Rivera ordered. The alien vessel's interior appeared on screen. The bridge was a chaotic mess of mismatched technology, and the crew, Ray had never seen anything like them, bipedal, but with mottled skin and elongated limbs. One of them stepped forward, its multifaceted eyes blinking rapidly. We rebels, it said, struggling with the words. Fight Kobali, seek allies. Ray leaned in, his voice low. Could be a trap. Rivera nodded slightly. Could also be our only chance. He addressed the alien. We're listening. The alien gestured, and an elderly member of its species shuffled into view. In its gnarled hands, it clutched what looked like ancient data crystals. Cash, the old one wheezed. Weapons, to stop Kobali. Ray's eyes widened. What kind of weapons? The alien's translator struggled. God weapons, elder race, before all. Rivera's face hardened. Where? The old alien shook its head. Not no. Clues. Must search. Ray glanced at the failing warp window, then back at Rivera. The Admiral's expression was grim, but determined. We don't have time for a wild goose chase, Ray growled. Rivera held up a hand. We don't have any other options either. He turned to the aliens. We'll hear you out. Dock with us. As the rebel ship maneuvered alongside the Razor's edge, Ray couldn't shake the feeling that they were making a terrible mistake. But as he watched the warp window finally collapse, he knew There was no going back. The airlock hissed open, and the alien delegation stepped aboard. Up close, their otherworldly nature was even more apparent. Ray's hand never left his weapon. The old one shuffled forward, offering the data crystals. "Show you!" it wheezed. "Cache location!" Sparks took the crystals, his eyes widening as he interfaced them with the ship's systems. "Holy shit," he breathed. "Sir, you're going to want to see this." A star map flickered to life, showing a distant, uncharted system. At its heart, a rogue planet drifted in the darkness between stars. "That's it?" Ray asked. "That's where these super weapons are?" The alien nodded solemnly. "Cache there, but danger. Great danger." Rivera's eyes narrowed. "What kind of danger?" Before the alien could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. Sparks' face went pale as he checked the readouts. "Energy spike," he reported. "Massive, coming from that planet." The old alien let out a mournful wail. "Too late," it cried. "Seal's broken. Kobali, come." Ray's blood ran cold as he realized the implications. They'd inadvertently led the Kobali right to the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. Rivera's voice cut through the chaos. "Plot a course for that planet. Now." As the Razor's Edge and the rebel ship prepared to jump, Ray knew they were hurtling towards either humanity's salvation or its doom. And they were in a race against time with the Kobali fleet. The battered ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the shattered remnants of their last hope. Ahead lay only uncertainty, danger, and the slim chance of finding a weapon to save Earth from annihilation.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.